This is an interview that I got to do with Mosballin back on April 7th, 2023. I just happened to be up way too late one night. I saw a tweet of his, sent him a DM, and the interview was scheduled. Uh, One of my favorites, probably in the top 15 of the ones I've done. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Make sure you follow Mos. Growing Up, Gaming, and Life, episode number 5 of the interview show. First of all, I need to thank All That Jazz, Oko Dre, Cheap Ludes, and Unbeatable Jacob. They were the first 4 interviews of this little project, and it's been a blast. Great content creators, great people. Known them for a while, so it's been fun doing this. What this project is just an interview show with people that I find interesting, and I hope you find interesting as well. People that I've watched, that I admire, that that inspire me to do different things. And if I have the opportunity to talk to them, I'm taking it. Mos, how you doing?
Hey, how's it going, bro? I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. I'm doing really good. I was excited to do this. Excited to chat with you.
Excited to be here, man.
In my initial space tweet, I said that you're one of my S tier streamers. Someone that I never thought I'd have a chance to talk to. So again, thank you for your time.
Yeah,
I know you've been
me,
traveling a little bit.
yeah, man. It means a lot, bro. Yeah, I've been traveling. I'm glad you were able to get me in, though. I always want to do stuff like this whenever anyone wants to talk to me, especially if I inspired in any way, shape, or form, man. I have to give back. I have to pay my dues.
Oh yeah, and which not a lot of people do, which is awesome that you put yourself out there. And even as a streamer, as a content creator, I think you inherently have to put yourself out there in front of people constantly, and that can be tough.
It is what it is, man. Like we are blessed and privileged to be in this space. You guys allow us to be here, so the best we could do is always give back in any way, shape, or form. Like I appreciate everyone that's already in here. You guys like push me in so many ways, and whenever I have an opportunity to speak, I'm gonna do that.
Yep, and that's one thing I've noticed about you. One, you're a speaker. So I I have a little intro of what I know of you. It's written down, so it's all probably true. But I'll go through this. You can agree or disagree. You can add on to anything at the end, uh, and then we'll get this ball rolling. How's that sound?
I'm with you, man. Let's get it.
All right. So first of all, you were a podcast guest. That's how I kind of saw you on Jazz's podcast way back when, a couple years ago. Uh, Gamer, streamer, a listener, a counselor, a motivational speaker, an entertainer, a YouTuber, no auction houser, a merch liner, the most baller, most ballin'.
I appreciate all that, man. It means a lot. Yeah, you make me speechless when like I hear any of that stuff. So, um,
Hey, if that's everything, I think we've pretty much wrapped it up then. So I
yeah, it was
appreciate your
nice.
time.
It was nice having everybody here, man. Thank you guys for being here.
Yeah, yeah, great. No, because that's just kind of how I saw when once I started, becoming a fan of your content. You were a guest for Jazz, and I was like, oh yeah, this guy's cool, and starting to learn more about people, and you see that, that streamers are not just a dude playing a game or a gal playing a game. It's more than that. It's the social aspect of it. It's not only asking about, hey, what game you're playing. What about this? Do you like? No, it's about, hey man, I had a bad day. Mos is live. I'm gonna go chat with Mos.
hmm Yep, I'm with you 100%. That's something a lot of people maybe don't realize. Like at the end of the day, we're all human. We all have bad days. Like that's something I try to always remember no matter where I go or what I do. Because, for example, I see right guy here listening. He has that Jalen Brown. I met Jason Tatum one time, and I like was younger, and I didn't understand why he wouldn't take a picture with me or something like that. But then as I grew older and I started understanding, I'm like, he was just not having a good day. And I noticed that like you could tell like he was having issues with his family or whatever the case may be. And as myself, or like I know I'm going through stuff right now and that's why I haven't been available, but I always try to pride myself being there for whoever. Like if even one person shows up to my stream, maybe that person is having a bad day, he or she, and maybe I could cheer him up, I can make him feel better, and that's what I always try to pride myself on for sure.
Oh, and I think you're very successful with it. And that was weird because you sent out a tweet a couple weeks ago, I think it was, and I was up way too late, probably grinding something, and saw the tweet and responded it, and it really hit home. And then I DM'd you right away and said, "Hey, I got a spot on the interview show. Would you like to be on it?" And right away you said, "I don't even know if I have time, but yes," and and that was really cool to be able that you are open because you don't know me, I don't know you, we've never met, but that you can take a chance to put yourself out there again, and so again I appreciate your time, um, and so you're traveling from where to where,
So
just recently.
So my whole life, I've basically lived in like the New York area, like that whole area over there. I got married about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, to my wife, and I decided to move to Egypt, considering that my job is so flexible and like I'm allowed to do whatever, and her family lives here. So I told her I'm down to try all that stuff out. So I've been in Egypt more or less the past year and a half. I've traveled a couple times here and there. So I was just in New York for like about a month, and now I'm back in Egypt. So
Okay, well, that's yeah. Moving for growing up in New York and then moving to Egypt. Had you been there before you decided to move, or?
my family, like we're Egyptian. Like I was born in Egypt, but I moved from here when I was 2 years old, so I know nothing about it really. Like I basically like was born, went straight there, so I lived my whole life there. But I visited in the summer because I still have family here, like aunts, uncles, grandparents, whatever. So usually like I'm here for like a month for summer, like enjoying the beaches, the like just the family vibes. So I've never thought I would live here, never expected it. It was never on my to-do list. I never stayed here more than like 2 months, but hey, I'm trying it out. It's a learning process. It's an eye opener, like when you see a whole different light and perspective, and like interacting with different people, because we're all humans at the end of the day, but we're so small, like in the whole scheme of things, because we think like our work, like my life, for example, is everything. Like you feel like your world sucks or like everything is happening to you, but we're such a small part of what's going on around us, and we don't notice it when we're in our little bubble. So being here has definitely opened my eyes to like so many things that I didn't know existed or was happening.
Oh yeah, yeah. Pushing yourself outside your comfort zone really is an eye-opening thing. So I guess it wasn't the culture shock that for me, if I would move to, any other country, almost any other state, I think I'm a little bit sheltered, but I think it'd be a little bit of a culture shock. But I can't imagine moving across the globe. So at least you had the background of being there. Um, so I'm betting you had friends and stuff to make the transition because that is huge. How many years living in New York and then saying, "Yep, my life is now happening in Egypt."
Yeah, no, it's definitely tough. Like the whole friends thing, like you said, I really don't have any. I'm trying to make, but it's never gonna be the same. It's never gonna be genuine. But like, thankfully, I trusted in my wife for like her family and stuff like that. Just trying to build connections with like my aunt that lives kind of close to me, like little things like that. And I know it's been hurting me, like because like you said, like my whole life has been there and what I'm used to, so now it's just it is taking a toll on me. I think that's why I've been taking so many breaks, like mentally and all that stuff, but overall I know it's making me grow as a person. So it definitely, I think getting out of your comfort zone when you can is definitely something you guys should all try. I know me being in New York definitely didn't keep me that sheltered because there's so many different cultures around me. Like I was like my high school had about 5,000 people in it from all over the world. Like so, yeah.
Holy cow! Yeah, that's too much. That's too much for me. Yeah. So and then that teaches you to grow as a person. That teaches you that diversity is a thing.
Hmm.
That's a thing in the world, and 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 it takes something like that, a move or anything to realize that. But growing up in New York, I've never been to New York. It's one thing on my to-do list. But it seems like they say it's the melting pot of of everybody. That so I'm jealous of that. I guess that background. But so big city situation was it? I've seen movies about everybody goes down and plays basketball. These the best parks all the time and all night, and there's a big crowd all the time. Is that real? Is that what goes on?
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely real in certain areas. The spots that you see in the movies, not everywhere, obviously, but yeah, if you want to find those parks, you'll find it. They're gonna be there, and the people are gonna be there, the best talents in the world, and all that. Like, yeah, it's just like the movies for sure.
Were you around that at all? So most as a kid in New York, what what did that look like?
So, before high school, I live on an island, one of the five boroughs. We call it the forgotten borough. Like people forget about us, they don't count us in because there's the whole subway system which connects four of the boroughs in like New York City, and Staten Island is not connected. It's you either need to take a boat or a bridge or something like that. There's no like direct way technically. Like if you're a young kid, you can't really get there easily type thing. So before I entered high school, I really was never in the city. I was never anything like that. I was like in the whole suburb kind of vibe. But when I went to high school, I went to high school in Brooklyn. So I would literally take a boat and then I take a subway and I take a bus. Like I take all this transportation to get to school. And that made me grow so much because like I was never like that. Like my school was a minute away from my house. I used to wake up to the bell and like run to class. Like we play basketball after school right in front of my like basically my backyard. And now I'm traveling to go like an hour and a half to go to school because I wanted to and because I went to like a specialized high school. Like we had to take a test and it was one of the best schools in the city and all this and that. So that got me into the whole traveling kind of thing. Like I started playing ball in all these areas that you're talking about. Because I was going to Brooklyn, I was like, I'm not gonna go straight home. I started like really loving basketball and meeting new people in that sense, where I could connect in a game that we love, the same way we do in like 2K, for example. So I
Mhm.
started going to all these parks, and like pretty much every week, me and my friends would go to a different park, meet new people, and just go play. Like I used to go everywhere, man. And if anyone here is from New York, you know, like West Fourth. I used to like the main place I think I used to play in was mainly Chinatown, just because it was convenient and like everyone used to just meet because it was kind of half through. And it was always so much fun over there. Like I remember all those days. I'll never forget them for sure.
And so did you ever get into like organized team basketball, or was it more uh the playground style? Like I was a playground player
Yeah.
myself, never. Yeah, I don't think I had the talent or the drive probably back then to make an actual school team. Played Y ball and church ball and stuff. But did you ever get into like the organized sports part of it?
Yeah, so I played a little bit before high school. Then when I got into high school, our tryouts actually, because like I told you, we had a really big school. Our tryouts had 200 kids trying out for our JV team, and it was like really really hard to like even like get your eyes noticed. Like they used to cut us like from 200, they cut us down to like 50, then to 25 and all that until she made her final 15, the coach or whatever. And I made it to the last tryout, but whatever it was, I just didn't make that team that first year, and it just kind of like mentally my confidence was drained, all that, even though I should have been proud of myself how far I made it. And she even told me, she was like, keep trying, keep working, and hopefully I'll see you next year and all that. But I just decided it wasn't meant for me. And maybe it was like I told myself, look, I'm traveling an hour and a half to get to school anyway. I'm just gonna go home. I'm gonna go play video games. I started playing Call of Duty, and then I was just like, let me just stick to the street stuff with my friends, and that's what I continue to do. Because I felt like I was good enough, and I was beating all these kids, like the kids on the team. They were like, yo, why didn't you try out for the team? I was like, I did. And then that whole thing, like, it just drove me away from that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, yeah. See, I always just blame the coaches. Coaches didn't
Yeah,
like me.
exactly. That's how
Not
I
my
felt.
talent. Yeah.
That's what it was. Yep.
Yep. Hate them for a while. Don't no self criticism. Back when you're a high school boy, yeah, no self criticism.
For
It's
sure.
everybody else's
But
fault.
but now when I
But
look back, I know it was my fault for not trying harder or not working harder. And I was also like I modeled my game over Jason Kidd, so I know I didn't stand out. Like at the end of the day, I should have tried to do more myself. I was just trying to pass, get others involved. And I know if I would have tried to do a little more myself, I could have maybe stood out more.
Yep. Yeah. And you never know. Or you might have, tried too hard and broke your ankle and never played again.
You are 100% correct. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the double-edged sword of the what ifs. But
Hmm.
yeah, if I think and I appreciate you saying that, like going back, thinking back, like I think it's almost our duty if we have a platform to speak because a lot of our audience is, you know, male youth, from 14 to 25 that don't have the chance to say, man, if I could go back and do this over, because they're doing it right now.
Hmm.
And trying to figure out a way to get to everybody that, hey, look around what you're doing, think about what you're doing. Don't be the one that says, man, if I would have done this, because you're doing it. And so push yourself and don't blame other people. And I think you've been a good inspiration as far as just being open and honest with people as far as what I've watched you do. Um, and saying, hey, yeah, you try hard to do this. You need to do this. If you want to do this, you got to do this.
For sure.
And,
Without a
and
doubt.
no BSing.
Yeah.
And,
I'm with you 100%.
and
And
then,
that's, I think, what pushed me. My bad for cutting you off. But yeah, I think that's what's really pushing me to like the whole coaching thing. Like, I've been coaching for a few years now. And it's like one of my main passions because I love the sport so much. I know I could give so much, especially to the youth. Like, I need them to understand, like, from not just my mistakes, like, because at the end of the day, as a young person, you're supposed to make your own mistakes. It is a part of life. But if I can give you just a little bit of guidance, a little bit of push, and that's what I try to do with like the kids that I coached when I was in New York, not right now, but like in general. I'm speaking, I still talk to them every day, or not every day, but I talk to them enough to still let them know what's going on. Like I'm friends with them on Instagram and all this and that, and I want them to understand that when you want something, you got to do it yourself. Like you can't just keep making excuses, like you said, blaming my coaches or all that. Like, yeah, I do that, and we all are going to continue to do that, whether it's our boss, this or that. But if you put in the work, it's going to all pay off eventually, no matter what. No one could tell you otherwise.
it is. And then those kids are going to call you coach forever.
Yeah.
Forever. Because I'm lucky enough, I guess a good thing about the area that I live in, it's small enough that some people leave, but a lot of people come back. And so I do run into, well, now they're men
Mm-hmm.
that I coached as sixth graders that could barely bounce a basketball. And they still say, hey, coach, hey, what's up? Get invited to a wedding of a kid that, well, he was such a good basketball player. His name was Joe, that he broke his right arm during the season. So he taught himself to shoot left-handed and wrapped his cast in bubble wrap so the YMCA would let him play.
Wow.
And he invited me to his wedding about 5 years ago. And so coaching, you mentioned that you were coaching back in Brooklyn. How come you're not coaching now?
That's a great question, man. My wife has tried to tell me to push to that here, but I keep making excuses. I keep saying I can't, I don't want to. I keep like just because I
Are you
can't
blaming the
really.
kids?
No,
Because their
no,
kids aren't good enough, huh? That's
no,
what it
no,
is. You're blaming
nah.
all these kids for not being good enough.
Never, never. I would never do that. Plus, that's my job,
I
right?
know.
You take the kids that and you teach them. Like it's never been about
Right.
getting or not. But no, I haven't even been enough to focus on like my YouTube enough. Like I haven't even got that right. So I'm like, I don't know if I can make that time commitment. Even though I'm sure I would love that even more, but I just I'm not in the right space. Like I miss the kids that I used to coach, and they're still waiting for me. I know that. Like I see their team is still doing well. They're all together. They have a great coach now, but I'm waiting to get back to that.
What about like a most coaches YouTube channel
That would be great.
that combines, or no, I guess because you still need to put content on your main channel. So maybe we just scrap the whole whatever game you're playing, turn it into IRL coaching. That's it.
That would be
Boom.
amazing. Yeah, for
Breaking
sure.
news. Huh?
You heard it here first.
Yeah, that's right. I just dropped it right here. He's Smalls got it out of you. Most is retiring to become a coach forever, and he's going to be happy. But we're going to see it. We're going to live it with him, because that's what I found out about coaching. That it was so I was so nervous. My sister actually signed me up to coach my nephew, but when I moved back from Minnesota to Idaho here in America, um, for the foreign listeners, but and I was nervous. I was scared that, oh, she signed me up to be coach. What? These kids aren't going to listen to me, but I was coaching with two of my best friends growing up, and they actually had one practice before I'd made it back. And when I got there, all of a sudden you're talking about a sport and the kids are staring at you like you are Vince Lombardi, like you are the only coach that's ever coached.
Mhm.
And you're hooked.
Yep.
And then you get to watch these kids grow throughout the year. The funnest thing we ever did was the end of the year pizza party,
Hmm.
where you call up each kid one by one and say something great and then say something to embarrass them.
Yeah, man, definitely. No, I'm with you 100%. It's something that no matter what age you're in right now, if you have a chance to volunteer somewhere with like younger kids, like, because even if you're, when I was in high school, I was volunteering to like manage teams that are younger than me and stuff. So definitely get involved in that stuff. It's gonna fill your heart with like things that you never knew existed. So I'm talking to everybody out there, even if it's not basketball, find something else that you enjoy, that you love, that's around you, and you'll be able to find it. Just go volunteer, be a part of it.
Yep, coaching, mentorship, like anything in a trade, in a game, in a hobby, anything that you can put on the calendar. Okay, I got these 10 kids and we're scouts, or
Mm-hmm.
anything like that. Um, and it's really it's so much more fulfilling, I think, personally, than I know the kids get an amazing. I guess it's fulfilling all around,
Yep,
but it's just a matter of making that commitment, because I've seen as a coach that many kids don't even get to play because there's not enough coaches.
this is true too. Yeah, I
And,
see what you're
and it's one season of basketball that I coached. We had two kids that their parents signed them up for soccer, but there wasn't a team for them, so they decided, okay, we'll play basketball. And they ended up scoring baskets throughout the year. It was tough. It was tough to get them to score, but it was worth it.
Yep, and
So
that's stuff that they're gonna remember forever. Like one day they'll be talking on a Twitter space talking about this. You know.
yep, talking about Coach Most pushed me to the limit. All right, it was a hot Egyptian summer, but Coach Most wouldn't let us stop. You know, so maybe it's something to think about. Did you have any coaches that you remember growing up?
Yeah, for sure. Mainly for the bad, but not. Honestly, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, for cutting you. Yeah,
Um,
I want names and addresses. We're gonna expose them.
Yeah, it was my fault for not turning into Michael Jordan after that. But I have a mentor, like one of my teachers. I remember till this day so well because of everything he taught me. Like it doesn't always have to be a basketball coach. Like he was just my teacher. That everyone when I saw his name that he was gonna be my fifth grade teacher. Oh, he was actually gonna be my fourth grade teacher, right? Like so. When I saw his name, everyone in the school always used to say he was the meanest person in the world, this, and that, and like, oh my God, you're so unlucky. And when I had him, he was literally the greatest. He was just the reason people didn't like him was because he was strict with the work. Like he wanted to push you that extra mile. He wanted you to be great and all that. So I had him in fourth grade and fifth grade. Two were like the greatest years of my life because of how much I learned. He literally made me fall in love with reading at the time and math and all this other stuff. And till this day, I still look up his name just to see if I could find his contact info because I have no idea anything about him. I went to the school a couple of times after to try to figure something out, just so I could show him the appreciation that I feel like how much he really
Oh,
impacted me. And I still have no idea how to contact him. And I promise you, I check almost every single year. I'm like, maybe I'll see something. I'll find something.
that'd be a great story of you
Yeah,
saying thank you. Yeah, talk about making his day wherever he's at. Good luck on that search.
thank
Yeah,
you,
that'd
man.
be something.
For
That'd
sure.
be a cool update. So when you were back, okay, you're back then playing a little ball. When did you start getting into video games? Like, what was your first system?
First system, so one of my second cousin, so like my dad's cousin's son, it's like a complicated story, like if you think about it, whatever. He was older than me and he's like my only real like my dad's cousin was like my only relative that lived close to us because everyone else was in Egypt, like my parents just went there type thing. Um, so he had just gotten an Xbox One or something, so he gave me his Dreamcast. Like that's what happened. He literally gave me his Sega Dreamcast back in like whatever year it was. I don't remember, like 2002 or three or something like that. And he gave me just a bunch of games that he didn't need and all that. And I remember just getting 2K1 with Allen Iverson on it. I plugged that in. I started playing it like crazy. Like just fell in love, with this whole 2K or whatever it was. Then I started playing. I don't honestly remember if I know I used to play NBA Live '03 so much on my computer and stuff. I'd have to go back to figure out if that was before or after my Game Boy Color with Pokemon and stuff. I don't know which one was first. Um, but yeah, I remember playing Pokemon all the time on the Game Boy Color before like there was even that light thing in like the systems where you had to put like the lamp light on top so you could see when it's dark.
Oh yeah, the attachment. They sold an
Yeah,
attachment so you could put yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And
Talk about add-ons killing you with microtransactions way back then.
yeah, I remember that. You had to hide under the covers. Like when my friend, like that was my first games, like Pokemon. I used to play NBA Live '03 because Jason Kidd was on the cover. I like played that year for a long time. Outside of basketball, my favorite game all time, some people may know, is Maple Story, which is a computer game. I think I wish I could see how many hours I spent on that game, but it's been years. Like I spent years on that game. That's how addicted
Maple
I was.
Maple Story.
Yes, yep. It,
Give me a cliff notes of what Maple. It sounds Canadian. I don't know.
no, I think it's some Asian. Like I don't want to. I don't like getting anything wrong, so I don't want to say like Japan. I'm not sure if it is.
Oh,
I don't know if it's Japanese, so
okay.
I don't want. I'm not positive.
Yeah.
But
All right. What is it?
it's it's a game where you basically make a character. You have classes, so you're either like you could be a warrior, a magician. It's similar to RuneScape if you ever play something like that. So it's a worldwide game, so it's like World of Warcraft and all that, where you're playing with other people all around the world. There's servers, there's different channels and stuff you connect to, and you're trying to beat up monsters to level up, collect money, and like get your gear up and all this stuff. So
Hmm.
that game was so addicting for me back in middle school and high school. I played it throughout. I even picked it up in college sometimes. And until this day, I think about that game. Like it's one of those things that's had a long-lasting impact on my life.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And it's a comfort thing. A game like that. A game that we can keep going back to. You
Hmm.
know. It's and it's a yeah. It's a good thing. Like watching an old movie that you've seen 100 times.
Yep, exactly.
Hopping back in this game because yeah, there's some games like that, like Skyrim,
Hmm.
that I'll hop in, but I'll be so lost because I'm on 1,000 different quests and I got all this stuff and I spend all day in the menus trying to clear up stuff.
Hmm.
So, but it's games like that that you can just kind of get lost in and switch off the real world, switch on the virtual world and just enjoy it for a while.
Well, a few weeks ago, when I was in New York, my sister took me to this place. I have two younger sisters, if anyone doesn't know, but yeah, they both took me to this arcade place, which is like vintage retro like thing. They have all the old arcade games, which are like even older than me. Like I've never played a lot of those things, but they have every single system in there and every single game, and you just pay per hour. I don't remember the exact name. I wish I could tell you guys. So if anyone's ever in the area, they could go. But we literally you go in there, you tell them which system you want to play this what game, and they hook it up for you with the controllers, and it's like the craziest vibe. Like I can't wait to go back just to go there. I was playing SSX Tricky. Like that's a game I grew up on the PlayStation 2. There was like so many games on the GameCube I wanted to try out, and I was like, I'm gonna bring my friends, we're gonna relive our past, like that kind of vibe.
Hanging out on the couch again. Yeah. So
Yo.
like back when you were playing live '03, what did that look like when you were playing it? Was it call the buddies over and everybody at the house? You go to other people's houses, you play seasons. What did you do?
So honestly, my live time, like no, I honestly just used to play by myself, my computer in my parents' room type thing. I just go in there and play it. But later on, I think the first games I used to start playing with people maybe it was like FIFA and then NBA. Like I don't remember which 2Ks, but before 10, like I'm saying like live and all that, like maybe '08 or 9 and stuff. But I know definitely FIFA I was playing with other people outside because it's big in like my nationality. Like Egyptians love soccer, so I had a lot of Egyptian friends, so we used to play that. But the main game I played so much was Call of Duty. I got really into it in high school, and that's what I started my YouTube channel on. Actually, I started like a YouTube channel just for Call of Duty. Um, I was really good. Me and my friends, it would literally he'd either come to my house with his PlayStation, and we'd move like the two TVs next to each other. We move the couches. We'd sit, or if I'm going to his house, I literally we take our TVs to each other's houses just so we could set them up next to each other. and we play together like that. Like we're on the same team. We all have our own setup in front of us, and we wouldn't sleep. We just sit there and play for hours and hours and hours, and people wouldn't know that we don't need a mic. We're just sitting next to each other. We're talking.
When you're sitting next to each other, do you call each other by your gamer tag or you call each other by your real name?
Oh, nah, gamer tags for sure, for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I played couch gaming back before gamer tag, so we just call each other very rude things. That's it.
That's hilarious.
So I just got to update your intro right here to Cod Sweat. I had no idea.
Yeah, that was me 100%. And that all started because when I was in high school, I was the same cousin that gave me that Dreamcast actually was the one that got me my first Call of Duty because my parents wouldn't get it for me because I wasn't age appropriate, like whatever it is. What is it? You have to be 18 or something? I don't know how old you have to
Yeah,
be. Yeah,
that's
so
the man trying to keep us gamers down. That's what that is.
that's what
Putting
it
these
is.
stickers on our games. Yeah.
So my parents were
Okay.
so against it. They're like, "We're not getting it for you," or and this and that. And then so I was at his house one day, and I was like, "I really want to play, but I've never played before. My parents won't let me get it." So he's like, "Let's go." He goes with me. He gets it for me. Like I give him the money, whatever. And then he's like, "Just don't tell him." And I was like, "Okay, cool." So I have the game now, and I start playing, and I'm really bad. So all my friends have me added, and they start seeing my KD. I'm one of the worst players ever because I've never played any kind of shooting game in my life. Like I've just never been allowed to. So this is my freshman year of high school, and I'm terrible. And so everyone's making fun of me on the way to school, on the way back, and I took it personally. Like I was so like, no, there's no way. So I started putting so much time into it. I started talking back to like the kids that were saying this, and I was like, look, I bet you by the end of the month I could have 100 KD. So I was like, yeah, I'll have 100 kill death ratio. He's like, bet. And then we started making a bet. I started literally sweating so hard. I had a pen and paper. I think I still have this book where I had my KD written every single game. So I would write like this game I got 5 kills, 20 something deaths. And then you could see the transitions in my book when I started going even, like 18 and 18. And then I started literally, this took time. Like it took me a while, but I started getting nukes every single game. I became something different. I put all my time and effort into that. And I became like the best version of myself when I committed to that, which was sad. But and then I started making accounts to try to get that 100 KD, and I did it. And it was just like one of those things where I realized that if I put my mind to something, I can do it. And unfortunately, I never really put my mind into something that seriously ever again.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm going to put the F word on Cod Sweat real quick.
Yeah, the good times,
That is
man.
crazy. And that is locking in. That is you locking the F in.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes. And so what was that did that? Was it your friends because you had to deal with your friends every day constantly saying that you couldn't do it?
For sure. And
Or
then,
what?
yeah, I think that's what it was. And then it put it into my head that I wanted to prove him wrong. And that was like my first time like dealing with that, especially at that age. Like I've dealt with other things when I was in school or younger, but it's like those are supposed to be your friends, you know? So like the fact that they started saying that and like we're all competitive. So I'm like, no, I'm better than you. And I just didn't want to seem like that guy that I'm not good. So I decided I wanted to be the best that I could. And I did it.
Yeah. So doubters motivate you,
For sure.
right?
For sure. For
Well, I don't think you're ever going to coach again. How about that?
sure. I like, yo, I'm about to go out right now and find the nearest gym.
Yeah, find a bunch of kids. All right, kids. What sport are we playing? Yeah.
Knocking on
I
people's
like that.
doors.
Yeah. Okay, so you got the 100 KD and geez, see, that's like finishing a good Netflix series.
Yeah.
You're done, and now what? Now what?
Oh, from
Do you
there,
switch games? Or what?
I think I don't know. I was like that. That was the best era of Call of Duty. So I was just every year I would just pick it up. Me and my friends would just do our
What
bet.
was it? Which one was it? What
Uh,
like Modern Warfare 2 or what?
yeah, so
What are
that
we
was my
talking?
first Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2, and then obviously
Okay.
like the Black Ops series started, and then Modern Warfare 3 and all that. So I had a group of friends. We would always play, and then we push ourselves to see who could get. Like it started with like the 100 kills, who could get 100 kills, and then 200. We started pushing ourselves to see who could have the best KD games and all that. So I don't remember exactly my best game, but I know I had like a 280 kill game in like Demolition with maybe like less than 10 losses, but I wish I could find. I can definitely find it somewhere. But yeah, definitely. We started pushing each other to the limit to see how well we could do.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm betting you know exactly what your best game was. I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
I'm getting old, man. I
I'm
forgot
betting.
all that
I'm
stuff.
betting it's carved in a tree somewhere that you did it. This was it. 280 and 10. Yeah, that's awesome. So when did the move? So the COD thing, but then you got into sports gaming. You're doing FIFA before COD, and then you got big into COD, making content for COD. I didn't find you through COD. So there's something that happened between, the nuke dropping the nukes on the COD community or until now playing basketball.
Mhm.
How did
So
that work?
my honestly, I feel like when I think back, like back in the day, I honestly didn't know what I was doing on YouTube till maybe like 3, 4 years ago. So I've been doing YouTube for a long, long time. I didn't understand how tags work. I didn't know how understand how titles work. I still don't understand a lot of things. Like obviously people know I don't do thumbnails. Like there's so many things where I'm not putting myself out there, but like tags and titles and stuff, I just didn't get it. I didn't know it was important. So I never really grew to my potential. Like maybe if I was doing that stuff, because I was doing content back when like Cash and Jester and all those guys were making 2K videos. It's just I wasn't making the best out of mine. You know what I mean? Like I just wasn't able to put myself out there in a way.
And,
Obviously,
and
I'm nowhere near as great as them or what they were doing, but I could have been. You know, like maybe if I just got a couple more views or some more motivation somewhere along the way, I just didn't understand it or put in the time, I guess, to understand it, which is my fault 100%. And that's why when I see someone coming up, I try my best to reach out all the time. I tell them what they should be looking at, how they should be focused, because that's stuff I learned later on by myself. And
we, we, you need to call up these friends of yours and say, you know, to get them to doubt you on the YouTube stuff. That's seems like that's the goal. That's the flash in the pan right there. That
You know, it's crazy. I still have screenshots from like random people on Twitter, like back in the day, that would always tell me my content sucked. They were like, "You would never hit 10K." There was people I would say, "You never hit 50, you never hit 100." Like I still have all those screenshots saved on my phone, and I'm never gonna forget it. That stuff did push me a lot, and I wish it still did. I feel like I I don't know. Like it, I'm not gonna keep talking about myself like being not in the right state, but it really is what it is. I'm trying to get better. I'm trying to be there for others and just be a better version of myself. I think I'm slowly getting there. I don't want to talk about that stuff. My fault. But
hey, no
yeah.
problem.
So
Hey, this is your show. I'm just here pushing play and record. Also record.
nah, I appreciate you. So yeah. So the Call of Duty stuff, I was doing that for a little bit. I was actually just talking to someone about it recently. Like I I still had my first video where I was trying to talk. I just didn't know how to. Like I was so stuttery, choppy because I'm really shy. Like people might not know that. I don't know how to talk in person like at all. When I'm online, it's a whole different vibe. I don't know how it became a thing, but it wasn't like that overnight. Like it took a while. My first few videos obviously weren't good. I brought in the whole camera maybe like a couple months later, just randomly. I was like, let me invest in a camera. People are doing it. Let me try. And then I don't know. I just switched out of nowhere. Like, I don't like pictures. I don't like being in front. I don't like people looking at me. Like, it's not me. But on YouTube, that I became someone else and it just became me. And now I feel weird when I'm not doing YouTube, or at least that's how I always like I became my Mosballin, you know what I mean? And like the
Mhm.
other person's my side character kind of thing.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the thing. You kind of got to hype yourself up for the cameras, and then yeah, you start liking being hyped up for the cameras.
Yeah,
It's the natural progression of being in front of people, getting good feedback. I think that's what it is. Getting good feedback is addicting.
that is true.
People saying good job, and that's one thing I've seen on streaming and content creation. That if you're around the right people, man, you can get a lot of good jobs in one afternoon without really doing a whole lot.
This is true.
But if you surround yourself by the right people, you
No,
know.
I'm with you 100%. And there's a lot of great people in this call right now. I see a lot of names that I see often, and like those people help me become who I am, just them being there and all that. And Oh man, I like I wouldn't be Mosballin without him. Like you're saying, like all that stuff was like I feel like I have one of the best communities, especially in the 2K community. Like I would never trade him for the world. Like when I told you, I wish I knew how to do tags and all that years ago, so I could have maybe been bigger now. Like when I think about it, like no, I know I'm supposed to be here at this time because I wouldn't have met these people, or I wouldn't have been so connected. Like I used to be pretty big on Twitch a few years ago, and then when I switched over to Facebook, I did that basically so I felt like I couldn't keep up with my chat. And that was something that I hated because I always loved interacting with the same people and knowing them and knowing what's happening in their day, them knowing me to a personal level. When my chat got too fast, I had like 400, 500 on average. I was like, bro, this is like, let me slow down. I don't want to be that big yet. And I took a step back and I made my community smaller. So, yeah, like having those great community behind you just always motivating you and pushing you is it's something like it's love. Like they become a family. Like I can't live without them. And that's I always say that like me when I stream is my best self. Like when I'm not streaming, I'm really depressed.
Yeah. Oh, because we, as I think by nature, are our own biggest critics, and especially unfiltered. An unfiltered attack on ourself by ourself is a rough thing to go through because there's nobody there to say, "Hey, stop it, stop it, quit." No, you're doing fine, you're doing great, and so once in a while you do have to reach out to like streaming, and they say, you fire up stream, and all of a sudden you start seeing people show up. And you're
Mm-hmm.
like, God, he was okay. All right. Felt like I didn't exist for a while. All right. If you're okay. Hey, everybody. Just needed to say hello to everybody. It's deeper than I know a lot of us just kind of gloss over it. Hey, we're streaming, we got a community and everything, but it is pretty deep
Yeah.
when you take it serious.
Mm-hmm.
Because it'd be easy to make a burner account and just, be a Yahoo on whatever. But if you want to make it something, man, it becomes something deep. And I see a lot of my really good friends on this call, and and uh, but it becomes because they gravitate towards your personality is what it is. If they find you and they see you and they go, oh yeah, this guy, no thanks. But they find you, they click on, they sub, they come back, and before you know it, they've been subbed to you for 2 years because
Mm-hmm.
that's the energy that you give off.
For sure.
And not only energy but knowledge, because you mentioned something about tags and titles are important. What does that even mean?
Yeah, yeah, people don't realize this, but like your title, even on Twitch or whatever you're streaming on or anywhere, like that's the headline. Like that's the thing. It's an extra search. The tags are so important. That's literally your whole search. And I did not know that stuff. Like there's ways to see every single tag for every YouTube video that's uploaded, knowing exactly what's the most searched. Like all that stuff most people don't know about or look into, except the really big YouTubers, and that's why they are where they are. Like when you listen to Mr. Beast talk, he always talks about how he studied YouTube straight up for how long, how much hours he puts into it, understanding every little small aspect that a normal human being, like even myself, wouldn't understand because we're not as dedicated. We don't care enough. We're not motivated enough. But when you want to be great at anything, like we talked about, like you put in that extra time and effort to understand every little detail, and that stuff helps you. Like I can send you, I'll tell you all whoever's in here, but like for example, there's a easy extension that you could add to your Google Chrome or anything called Social Blade, which is a lot of people know about it, but you wouldn't know that if you download the extension, it will actually give you a tag to every YouTube video. So one thing you could do that helped me back in I want to say 1920, like 2K19, 2K20. That's like when my channel started doing really well. Even though I've been making content since I don't even want to say how long, but I've been making content for like since 2011 or 13 or something. Like I've been making YouTube forever. And like it's demotivating, obviously, when you're not getting views. So I wouldn't say I was full time. I wasn't putting my full effort into it. But once you figure all the little stuff out, so like I was saying, Social Blade, you download that, it shows you every little tag. So what I would do is, for example, I started looking at the best videos, who was uploading the best 2K videos, and then what their tags were, and start piggybacking off of it a little bit. So now when, for example, someone's watching a Jesser video. Now they're um now I have similar tags to him because my stuff relates to that video that he posted. Now I might be in his related, like, when your video's done, it suggests the video to it. So now I'm there. Now I pop up. Before I would never pop up. I'm like on page 5,000 instead of on the top pages. So like just little things like that you start figuring out. That's one thing I learned on Twitch when I started taking that seriously was stream times. I realized that I'm never gonna have my own schedule, but I can realize what others were looking like. So whenever I'd see people weren't online playing 2K, I'd hop on. Now it's different, obviously, because so many streamers are out there. Shout out to everyone who's still streaming 2K in general. But the amount of streamers when I started weren't that big, but to get noticed was still harder. Like it was still hard. I mean, like it's always going to be hard when you're starting. Um,
Mhm.
so I noticed that when the big streamers, like for Carlos was a big streamer back then, there was Shake and Bake, all these guys. But whenever they weren't on, I would just hop on. So if anyone's trying to watch my team, they would find me. They'd have no other choice but to watch me, kind of thing.
I love that. I love that. Like the guerrilla assault. Uh, yeah, coming out of the woods and attacking. Anytime there's an opening, there's Most. Here's Most. Okay, tag Most. All right,
Yep.
that is awesome. That is, but yeah, that's when the drive. Because I don't think it's. I disagree when you say not motivated. I think there's not a need. Like if you needed to do this to feed your family tomorrow, you would do it. You know, yeah, I see that out of you. If
Oh,
if the only way that you can feed your family tomorrow is you got to do this, you got to turn back into the nuker in COD. You know, it's the need. You know, because
maybe.
you're probably living, you're comfortable, you got a good thing going. It's not that if I don't do this, I'm going to fail. That I
Mm-hmm.
think that you had back, riding the bus to school when your friends are dogging on you, man. I got to do this. I got to do this. And now it's like, oh, I can do this if I want to, but man, I'm doing this. I'm doing this.
Yeah,
It's just because that's what happens. Life gets in the way.
yeah, I'm with
You
you 100%.
you start off with like the shooting star of 2K or whatever the game is of the creation, but then okay, then you go to college or then you get a job or then you get married or something happens, you have a kid
Mm-hmm.
when your priorities change.
Yeah,
So it's definitely not you're not motivated or not. I think it's just that you don't have to. You're not forcing yourself to do it yet. It's
yeah.
it's coming, and this is just me judging you from across the world. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But
No, you're right, 100%. The thing is, I should be. I don't have any other priorities. Like I've literally haven't been doing anything the past month and a half, 2 months, 3 months, whatever. I haven't been here, and that's like
getting yourself right.
my.
Actually, that's actually very important, though. You have been doing something. You've been getting yourself right. So don't say you haven't been doing anything because you're here. You're here now. So you've been doing something. You've been doing something right. You didn't cancel.
I appreciate that. Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's just a matter of okay. So what made you decide to go from just playing video games to going online to making content for others to watch? What was the drive there? Because I
So
know
yeah.
I know the drive to nuke everybody. That's awesome to tell your friends they're trash. I get that,
Mhm.
but all of a sudden you want to tell everybody else about what you're doing. Where did that come from?
Yeah, so my favorite things in life have always been, well, video games, well, basketball for sure, but like video games and YouTube. Like like since YouTube's been a thing, I've loved watching YouTube videos, no matter who it was. But like the people that made me comfortable was like Face Clan back in the day. I remember like going home watching FaZe Rain and all these guys, like what they were doing, and it was just like seeing him like was literally seeing myself kind of thing, where it's like he's just a shy kid that's like he was able to transform in front of like a camera. Like I thought I wanted to be like that. I wanted to be similar, like not him, but I wanted to be that type of person kind of thing. Like I wanted to try to see if I could get out of my shell because I was never able to. Like whenever I'd go into a store and my mom would tell me to go ask somebody something, I'd pretend I'd go ask, but I wouldn't be able to just because I was too nervous or too shy, like as if they're gonna do something to me. But like even till this day, sometimes I'm too shy to go talk to someone, even if it's something like at a store. Like it's weird. It's something that I've gotten better at 100% over time. But sometimes I'm just like, whatever. I don't really need it. I don't care. But YouTube has definitely helped me in that sense. And the main turning point was when I got really good at Call of Duty. Obviously, I was like, yo, I can make some tip videos for other people. I can start teaching them. So I was literally making tip videos on how to get a kill streak or how to literally get a nuke and all this stuff. At first, I was doing some. I decided to show off my games first, like my good games, so like people would find credibility in me, like I'm able to do things like that. Um,
Mhm.
but then slowly I would be like, oh, this is how you unlock a gun, for example, or like little things like that. But it was mainly tutorials, not that's how I like basically started my 2K channel as well, like kind of tutorials. Like I always wanted to help and teach since I thought I put in a lot of time into video games and was good at them, understood them pretty well. Like my team, I was one of the first people that was really, really into my team. I started playing my team when it first came out the first year, and I got addicted to the mode like from the beginning. Like I was always into it. I always understood it inside and out. I felt like maybe the past few months I haven't, but before that, I knew my team really, really well. So I thought, why not try to teach others the same way? So that's kind of what got me into the whole YouTube streaming thing.
Oh yeah, yeah, and then so the live streaming was just kind of a natural progression from the YouTube videos, or what? You know, that's another big step. Uh, how did that look when that unfolded?
Yeah, for sure. So I one time in like 2016 for like some tournament or something, and it was fun. I had a lot of viewers, but I still never thought I could stream. It was never a thing like to me, especially back then. Like it wasn't a job really for anyone, or it wasn't. It probably was for maybe some people, but not really. Like no one ever looked at it like that. So I never thought of streaming at all until shout out to your boy Hooper for anyone who knows him, but he's one of my longest lasting subs ever in anything. I used to play he used to be one of my subs since Call of Duty. He transitioned me to 2K and all this other stuff. Like he's been a supporter since day one for sure. Less than 200 subs or something. So that guy, he used to tell me all the time, like you gotta stream, man. It's easier. People are gonna like you. People are gonna enjoy you. You gotta just try it. He would just tell me to go live, and I would just like not say I wouldn't listen to him, but this kid's like what I think he's over 10 years younger than me. So at that time, he's like 14-year-old kid just telling me to stream. Like, bro, shut up. Like, leave me alone. Like, I don't know what are you even saying.
Just barking at you. Yo, stream, yo.
Yeah, but I really like till this day I listen to that kid a lot. He's like 18 now. I listen to that kid so much and everything. Like whenever I have a big decision or something, I literally text him because he started my whole streaming career. Because he was trying to get me into Fortnite when it came out. So most people don't know, but I started streaming Fortnite. Like this was before my 2K even took off. I hated 2K18 with a passion. It was my least favorite 2K till this day. It's worse than this 2K. You can't tell me otherwise. It's the worst 2K to ever exist, in my opinion. My opinion.
Yeah,
All
of
right,
course.
so yeah, so 18 I hated. It made me hate video games to a point where I started focusing on my life. Like it was that bad.
Wow. Yeah. When you have to turn to the real world to take a break from video games, you know things are rough.
Yeah, no, it was that bad. And Fortnite was just coming out, like it was just becoming a thing. And him and some other people were telling me like they'll start playing. I was like, nah, I'm not. It looks too childish. I'm not a fan. Like I didn't even want to even try to play or watch it. And then one day I gave in. I got on. And I really enjoyed it, and it became a thing. I started streaming it pretty much 24/7, just out of nowhere. Like it just started happening. And yeah, that kid really launched my career to this day. Shout out to Hooper. He made me start. I played literally Fortnite every single day with him, and Bio 2K was playing with us all the time as well. And I'd play. I don't even want to say how many hours, but I literally I don't remember sleeping. Like it was just the thing I did from when I woke up to when I slept. I had a even when I was working, it was still like I'd go home and play Fortnite, this or that, and then 2K started taking off a few months later. Like I started streaming 2K, and that's what like took off my YouTube channel when I eventually started doing both together.
And that's when you knew you made the right decision as far as getting into the content creation. Um,
For sure.
as far as taking off, tell me about that journey of when you wake up to you wake up to a video that has a bunch of views, or a stream, all of a sudden there's a whole bunch of people. How did you know that you were on the right path?
So my first few, like when I first started streaming, obviously you don't have more than 1 to 2 people in there, and it was like that for months. Like I have the first year of streaming, I have my numbers for that, the most amount of viewers I had, all that. Like I still have those as not motivation, but to show myself how far I've come. And I remember when I used to get like 6 viewers, 8 viewers, like I was so happy. Like it would make my whole day. And till this day, like I don't take any of that stuff for granted. But when um when 2K19 dropped, I told myself I really wanted to take this seriously. I was at that time I was working at the NBA store, like in New York City, like the one in Manhattan, where it was like at the time it was the only one in the world, and like players used to come there. It was close to like the actual headquarters for the NBA, like their office and stuff. So I was working there, and I used to commute like an hour and a half there and stuff, for like an hour plus. And it was tough to do both, but I told myself, look, I'm gonna try my best to upload every single day. I want to make this a thing. I enjoy it. I have fun. I want to do this. So I gave myself motivation to upload daily. And I swear, I don't know how it happened, but the day I said that, that's when it really just clicked. Because a few days later, I would be at work, and I'd see like I'd gain like 5 subscribers. I'm at work, like so I'm checking my phone, I'm refreshing. I gained like 7 subscribers. I'm like I gained 10 more. Like every refresh, I was gaining a few. I would gain a few followers, like more views, and I was just so confused. So I was like, yo, I'm doing this right. So I remember that those videos, they were all like tutorials, kind of like it was like how to how to make MT, how to win triple threat, like those kind of videos. I was just doing those, and people just were loving it. They were loving my energy, the vibe. I had someone making my thumbnails at the time. I was really putting in a lot of work. That's when I don't know if you know Mike Corzembo, but shout out to Corzembo as well. He started like we became friends during that time. This guy with over 1 million subscribers. He's the one that taught me tags, kind of like he saw my dedication because I finished domination first and I got no views, so I was devastated. And then he was explaining to me, he's like, bro, you made your video too short. Your video needs to be longer. That's the only way YouTube's gonna push it out, because they need to see the watch time. They need to know people. Like he's like, you'd rather people watch 2 minutes, because me, I'm like, no one's gonna watch a long video for me. I'm a random. Like I'm like, people are just gonna watch a 2 minute video. Like that's my best shot. He's like, no, drop it 10 minutes. If they watch 3 minutes, it's better than them watching that 2 minute video all the way. So he kept trying to tell me all that stuff, teaching me all the little things. So when I started putting all that together, figuring it out, I'm telling you, I was so obsessed with looking at my phone at work. I would just keep refreshing it. And it was just, I was so happy. I was excited. I would like be running around like joyful, bouncing. Like everyone would probably look at me crazy, but, and it was all that. Like I was just growing a couple subscribers. But to me, it was like I was seeing everything kind of paying off. I'm like seeing thousands of views, which never happened. Like once I hit that 1,000 view mark, or 2 or 3, and my YouTube really took off. Like that 1 month, I gained more subscribers than I ever had. And then the next month it did even better. And then after that, I was like, look, you know what? I'm just gonna quit my job and bet on myself. I literally, it didn't even take me more than a month or two when I I think I didn't even have like probably 10,000 subscribers. I was like, if I focus 100% on this, I can make it happen. So I told myself that's what I was gonna do. I told my parents, give me a year. At the time, I was also doing like before I went to the NBA store, I told my parents to let me bet on myself, because I was working at an engineering office before that, and I completely quit that to make way less money in something that I love, which was the NBA store. And I told myself like maybe I can work my way up to being in the NBA, which I did one day get an interview for something that I wanted, but I just didn't get it, which is okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I put myself in that position by risking my old job and all this and that. And I always taken that risk if I feel passionate about something. So I was so passionate at that time. I was like, look, let me do this one more time. I know I didn't do what I was supposed to do yet, but let me risk all that. And they were supportive enough to let me do that one more time because I was living at home. And shout out to them for real because they allowed me to do that. But yeah, once I did that, I started streaming full time, started doing YouTube full time. Obviously, the money wasn't there at first, but one day it became literally my full time job.
Yeah, and that's just the drive, the energy. So yeah, the I guess it takes something. That's part two of the oh, what is it? Most mentality? Can we call it most mentality?
Yeah,
When
we
you
could.
lock in and just change the trajectory of your life.
Yeah, I need
But
to lock in for the third time soon. But yeah, I'm with you.
yeah, I think there's a most mentality there because yeah, that's it's just doing something, betting on yourself, knowing that you say that you're somewhat of an introvert, you don't like you're shy, but you decide to work at Foot Locker in New York in customer service
Hmm.
with no backup plan, with that's it. And so,
Hmm.
yeah, talk about betting on not only betting on yourself, but betting on who you think you're going to be. Because if you know you're shy and you move to New York to work in customer service, that's a
Yep.
problem. But if you know deep down inside that no, there's somebody there that's going to dominate this shoe game or whatever, that Foot Locker, or I'm going to meet every NBA player that comes in there.
Hmm.
That's putting yourself out there. And the same with streaming.
Yeah,
You continually keep putting yourself out there, and everybody keeps loving it. And
I appreciate that.
and it's just a matter of finding most mentality part three to to turn it up a notch. And it feels like there's something there, like the merch. How did the merch line come into everything? Who told you that hey, most you'll never make merch? That made you make merch.
Nah, I told myself I wasn't gonna make merch. People have asked before when I was doing like obviously like had more views and stuff. Like people always were like, "Yo, why don't you make any?" Especially that my sister once made me for my birthday, so I would wear it, and people were like, "Yo, I want that," and then it just like never happened. I was like, "Nah." I tried it once, and then like a day or two later, I didn't like it enough, and I was like, "Nah, I'm not gonna do this. Like, it's not me." Maybe one day when I kept telling myself when I hit 100,000 subscribers, like I don't like failing in anything, so I was like right now I feel like I would fail. So I don't want to try. And I didn't want to put myself out there. But
Mhm.
my wife actually pushed me out. Like she was like, no, you got to do this. It's something you've wanted. Cause like, obviously I wanted it. Like almost who wouldn't want to, you know what I mean? So she's pushed me along the way. She's helped me. She's got me in contact with a lot of people. And it's just a start. I plan to make it a lot bigger than it is right now. I'm working on a few really cool designs right now for the playoffs and stuff. And I plan to hopefully take it worldwide one day. Like I am gonna be in stores soon. I'm telling you guys. Like it's just the beginning. I have so many great ideas. I'm just going slow right now because obviously I'm not there mentally, but it's coming.
Sure,
It is.
sure. Oh yeah, because you're already worldwide. Just your stuff has got to catch up to you now.
For
You
sure.
know, because one thing I uh, I read something earlier today and it really stuck with me. Um, it was all our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them.
Yep,
And
that
I
is so
read that
true.
on your Twitter page.
I didn't even remember that was me, bro. I did not.
Yeah,
I probably wrote that like 10 years ago, and it's so true. That's why I
yeah,
put it there.
and it is true. So it looks like it just needs the courage part three to pursue what's next. Because and take your time. We'll all be here waiting when you're ready. But just know that we are here for you when you're ready.
And I
Whatever
appreciate that, bro.
content that is. I do think the coach most coaches. I think that'd be so awesome. But hey, that's another channel for another space. Um, I appreciate your time, Mos. I'm a big fan. I'll continue to be a big fan.
I appreciate that,
Mm.
man. It really means a lot, and I love seeing like the next generation. You are a part of it, even if you may think you're old or anything. Nah, you guys are our future and everything. Like the way you guys are moving, like just doing something like this. Like I've tried something like this, but my vision wasn't right, and I love the way you're doing it in this space where you're taking advantage of um the space itself and people knowing like we all have voices like you said and like we want to put it out there, so we appreciate you having us on and supporting
That-
us as well as we hope to be able to support you as much as we can.
I appreciate that. So that's a very nice thing to say. But I have a favor to ask of you though.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
The first four guests, they've done me the solid of closing the space for me, so I don't have that added pressure on myself, you know.
No worries.
So so if you just want to take a minute, tell people what you're doing, what you're up to, where you're going, where they can find you. I'm gonna mute my mic, and then as soon as you mute your mic, I'll know that the space is over. And Mos, I cannot thank you enough, my man. This has been great.
No, it's a absolute pleasure for you to have me here, man. All right, I guess I'll take it from here. You guys know the drill, man. Nah, for real. This was a pleasure, absolute blast. Thank you guys for everyone who's been here from the start. Shout out to everyone who's come in at any point, even if you couldn't be here. Well, you guys know who I am. If you don't, my name is Mosballin. But that's not what it's all about, for real. Like I appreciate everyone who supports me everywhere, whether that's on YouTube, just here on Twitter. I know I'll be tweeting stupid stuff all the time, but that's what Twitter's all about, right? Elon Musk can't change that. But overall, I'm gonna be on Kick, so if you want to kick it with me, go ahead and follow me there. That's where the future is. Shout out to every single person here. I don't know if people are allowed to do this. Can I read every single person's name in here? Why not? Let's get it. I don't I don't want anyone to hate me, so let me not do that. But no, seriously, from the bottom of our hearts, keep supporting this man. Keep supporting what he does. If you don't already follow him, I don't know what you're doing. So do that right now, or else. And with all that said, y'all know the drill. It's been your boy Mosballin, and you guys know what to do, right? Ballin'.
Huge shout out to Mos. That was a fun interview. I'd like to talk to him again for sure. Like, comment, and subscribe.